All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. So just a couple of housekeeping items. This is my contact information. I'm Robert Gabriel, President and CEO of MicroWise Technology. I also have a guest speaker with us, and Kim from MicroWise will be helping me when I'm reading questions, if any. Just a disclaimer, anything you learn in this seminar, you need to verify yourself. MicroWise or any guest vendor will not be held responsible for any loss of revenue or data. The agenda today is we're going to talk about online appointments, common medical billing mistakes, and 3 ways to maximize your patient reimbursement. Then we're going to be open for Q&A. The Q&A could be related to today's agenda, or could be for anything about the industry, anything about Medisoft, and anything you like us. So let's get started. I'm going to have a few questions for you, but I'm going to hold on those questions until I get more people joining us. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is how to make online appointments. So there's 2 ways for Medisoft to do online appointment. There is integration with a product that I created. It's called Rosetta. I'm going to show you a quick presentation of that. Then there's also a built-in feature that comes with Medisoft, and that if you are on Medisoft version 24 or higher or cloud, you'll be able to utilize that. So let me explain the difference. So Rosetta is a way it's almost like the open table. Hopefully, when I go to a restaurant, I always use open table. And what does that mean is let's say I want to eat Italian food today, and I want a restaurant in my area, and it has to be rated certain rating. And I go and find out who has open tables, then I book my appointment. So the Rosetta works the same way. So if you're a dermatologist or your internal medicine or your chiropractor or whatever, you can publish your availability, and patient, you can now put that link on your website, or for people that know your website and know to come to you and able to book an appointment, or you can attract new patient that you don't have yet, and that will let you book those patients, or you can have those patients book you. So I'm going to show you a pre-recorded session, then I'm going to show it to you in live.
Say hi to Voceda, an open table for physicians. Patients can find you based on specialty, location, or insurance, book you for in-office or telehealth visits, and review you online. Voceda is integrated with your favorite practice management software, so you don't have to transfer booking data manually between multiple applications, and no more double bookings for a single slot. Voceda doesn't charge you anything for finding new patients and helps you connect with existing patients. Call us now to schedule a demo and find out how Voceda can help you grow your practice.
So that's in a nutshell how it works. And let me just show it to you in real life. So let's say this is the patient could be looking for a specialty, or they can click on one of the icons. They could be entering their zip code. They can pick between a virtual visit, which is telemedicine, or office visit. So now I'm just going to click search here. So it goes and finds all the physicians that have availability. So depending on what specialty I was searching for, and so let's say Dr. Boyd, and if I want to book Dr. Boyd, I will pick I see there's availability today for Dr. Boyd, or I can go tomorrow where Dr. Scott only has 3 availability tomorrow, nothing today, and nothing for the rest of the week. And that's how this works. Okay, now if let's say I want to book Dr. Boyd for today at 1:15, which is really like now. Okay, so you can also make it where you leave a buffer where you need preparation for an appointment. That's also a possibility. But let's say it happened to be, he's available now, I'm available now, and I'm going to book this appointment. And you go and log in, and you get to pick, what's your insurance and all of that, and you just hit book, and that's it. And that's a telemedicine visit. So that's how simple it is. And you get to see that physician through the camera, just like, looking at me now and chatting with me, and it's through the camera. And this is totally free. And now this is integrates with your Medisoft. So when you book an appointment, that appointment gets into your Medisoft. And when you book Medisoft manually, the way you're doing it now, it removes that availability from Visita so you don't wind up with them. Okay. So a tool like that, even if you're a billing company, by telling your physician about it, it can create more visits for your practice or for your business or for your doctor. Unless your doctor cannot take any new patient or cannot take any, something so unique about what you do. Now, let me just show you Dr. Boyd, for example, how he uses that. So if you go to Dr. Boyd's website, which is I'm going to do now, if you happen to know Dr. Boyd's website and he has here register or book a virtual appointment, or that could be a real appointment. So if you click on it, it gets to his profile. And this can work almost like you can say whatever you like to say here. And it shows the rating, all the patients that rated you, and all the availability. And if I was a patient going to his website, I can link the website. If I don't want a virtual visit, I want an office visit, I can switch this. And now he only sees patients virtually. So he doesn't take, this particular provider doesn't take any real visits anymore because of COVID. But, most practices, they're seeing patients in the office now. But that's how this one works. Okay. So any question regarding the Rosetta, the integration, or online appointments? Now, Medisoft also have a built-in feature. Medisoft also has a built-in feature that allowed you to do online appointments, but that has to be an existing patient that you need to turn that feature on per patient. So there's a feature in Medisoft that, if anybody interested, I'll show you that you can turn on the online appointment. It takes a setup. The whole setup is less than an hour. It's not very complicated setup where you can turn it on, but the patient has to exist in your Medisoft. Then you have to put the link on your website. Then you have to allow per patient that they can do online appointment for whatever reasons you will allow them to do. This is different because this will attract new patients that maybe you don't have today. So let's move on if there's no questions. Okay, now we're going to talk about the common billing mistakes or medical billing mistakes. So I know most of you are experienced, but just go and take baby steps and look at things from a bird's eye views. Those are the most common mistakes. Of course, there's a lot more things can go wrong, but we're going to talk about 4 most common mistakes. Lack of quality technology. EMR, PM, charge capture, and the workflow in your office. So let me spend a few minutes to talk about each one of those items here. A lot of time, it depends on how busy your practice is and your specialty, of course. So when you have a billing software that's fully integrated with your EMR, so when the doctor is done with the note, that charges is going to get into your billing. It's going to save time from having to deal with manual super bill. It's going to save time from manual mistakes where the person that's doing the entry might be missing something. It takes a good quality, fully integrated software will allow you to the physician, when they're done with the note, to enter the CPT and diagnosis based on what they saw. So if that provider ever gets audited, it will be a cover up for them because what was documented was billed. So it saves a lot of the headache where you're billing for things that was never documented. Now you as a physician or as a biller, you don't lose full control of such a feature, but it's a huge feature where you have a good quality software that fully integrates with that. So now, if you, depending, of course, we have different brand name, including the Medisoft EMR, and that Prima is the high end that's owned by Medisoft. Depending on your specialty, if you think your workflow, your technology that you have today is not sufficient, please talk to me or to Justina, the VP of sales. Then we will talk about what fits better for you. Then we can show you different options for your practice. But what I hate to see is that the provider is using a disconnected EMR, and they go to the hospital or they go to a nursing home or they go and they deal with sticky notes or they deal with a manual super bill, and that manual super bill is going to the biller where you can take time to do that. Things can fall through the cracks and you wind up losing tons of money and efficiency. There's no efficiency here when you're dealing with manual work. I know change is painful, but no change is more painful than dealing with the pain that you get from a change of workflow or change of software or change of process and procedures. Please interrupt me, unmute your phone if you like to ask a question. We have a small group, then we can tolerate an interruption if you have any questions for me. The next item is we're going to talk about poor claim management. So poor claim management could be coding, could be like, a claim that goes out not clean or it doesn't go out on time. So you need to have, again, that could be a part of technology, or that could be a part of your workflow, or that could be a part having the proper coding, having a clean claim. So, there's a claim that goes out not clean. Okay, it takes 5 times the effort to get it paid than if it went out clean from the first time. So it's just that, there's new tools in Medisoft now that allowed you to remind you if there is a certain CPT code doesn't go with a certain diagnosis for a certain payer, or requires a modifier, or requires anything like that. So if you want to have a brain dump of things that you learned, and you have other people that helps you with billing, and you want to make sure that everybody's on the same track, we can talk about those features when you need. I don't want to just present you those features. I want you to know those features that are available in your Medisoft, and if you want to learn about them, I will show you how to use them, or I can send you a recording to know how to use it. They're very easy to use, and they can help you with sending clean claims from the first time. That's the difference when you're entering your transactions or versus it goes to revenue management and revenue management flags it as a red flag. Those are different. That clean claim feature is as the person is doing the data entry, entering the data inside Medisoft. And of course, timely billing is where a lot of mistakes that I see is people holding on claim because they don't want to eat up the deductible from Medicare, especially at the beginning of the year. Then they hold on the claims and find out that that claim was that patient changed insurance from regular Medicare to Advantage Medicare, which is big problem in the industry. You need to have your coding correct. You need to have your eligibility verification correct. You need to bill things on time. You cannot hold on things, then lose money or lose claims because of timely filing. Then there's poor denial management. Okay, so there's a difference between clean claim and when you get denial, you have to work the denials, and that's resubmission, appeals, and timing. So your insurance company, unfortunately, they give you certain times to resubmit those claims or appeal those claims. So those things have to be done correctly and in timely fashion. And of course, look at the service, make sure your internal staff is up to par, and make sure if you have a billing service, make sure your billing service is doing a good job. Not every billing company know what they're doing, and not every internal staff knows what they're doing, and just make sure that person is handling your billing, is getting the latest training, is attending certification, and anything they need to make sure they're up to date on all the changes that's happening. Now, if you are interested, you can send me an email, and I wrote a book, and that book is How to Lose Your Medical Practice. Of course, I've been sarcastic in 10 ways. So this book is absolutely free for you. I have it in 2 different versions. So this is digital, where this is a thumbnail that you can read it that way, or you can download this as a PDF, or the written version. So if you send me an email, I'll share my email again. You just send me an email and tell me if you'd like to have a copy of this, and tell me either if you want a digital or printed copy, and it's totally free, of course. Okay. The next thing I like to introduce our guest speaker today, Jacqueline Martinez. Jacqueline is from BillFlash, and BillFlash, of course, one of my favorite vendor of the helping practices get paid? And do you have different ways of getting paid, from taking credit card online or taking credit card over the phone or sending statement or electronic statement? So without further ado, I would like to introduce Jacqueline, and Jacqueline is going to show us what are the latest features they have. Jacqueline?
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of your call. I am Dr. Jacqueline Martinez, and I am the Relationship Development Manager over at BillFlash. Most of you have known BillFlash to be statement-based, facilitating a lot of the paper statements, but we have been invited to this call to kind of give you an overview of the new features that we are offering at BillFlash. Everything from e-bill to e-texting, finding new ways to get you paid faster, including link pay, which is for telehealth patients, telehealth appointments. We can now do auto payments, payment plans. We can do collections, and there is just some very robust features that we're offering now at BillFlash to help you get paid faster. We also have a ways to communicate with the patients directly, and Desola is going to be the main person kind of showing you a high-level overview of a demo for you. And then if you wanted some detailed information, wanted to do a one-on-one demo, we encourage you to reach out to either myself or our sales team, and we can do a deep dive into all the different features that we offer here at BillFlash. Can you give Desola Horst co-presenting privileges?
Yes, just before you get started, I just want to do the polls, which let's get an idea of who we have on the call. So the first question is going to be, are you representing a practice today or a billing company?
We facilitate both, actually. So we can facilitate practices and billing.
This poll is for the audience.
Sorry.
Okay. So, can you please just answer that question? Almost everybody on the call is from a practice. Then the next question is, I just want to know what version of Medisoft do you have? So I'm going to just end the poll here and share the results. So we have a mix between version 23 and 22. And the final question is your experience in medical billing. How many years of experience? Okay, ending the poll in a second. Very good. So I'm going to share the results. So this is the mix between the everybody's experience that we have on the call today. Okay. So, okay, Jacqueline, you're the host now.
Desola, I just gave you host privileges. Let me know if you received it.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Desola Horst. I'm one of the account managers with BillFlash, and I'll be showing you some of our features today. Can you view my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. All right. So a couple of our features. You're probably, you might be familiar with the statements and sending those through paper, but we have two other ways to deliver those statements. One of them is going to be through email, and then the next one is going to be through text messaging. So I'm going to go over to services very briefly. And this is the e-bill notification, which will include both notification through email and through text. And then let me show you very quickly what the template would look like. So this is what a notification through email would look like. The bottom box of it is what your clients, your patients are going to see. So it's going to have the name of your practice here. You're going to see some details. You're not going to be able to view that bill when you open that email, but your patients can click view and pay bill, and it will open it in a secure website. At that point, they can make a payment if they want to make a payment, and if you also have the payment services activated on your account. You can customize this template, so you can add the office hours. That's what I've done on my test account. You can also add a note here to instruct them how they can make payments, or if they have any questions, who they need to reach out to. And then all the way at the top, you'll see this is just the from and the subject line. So your patient don't see, they won't be seeing the top box, but this is the email address that the notifications through email will go out from. So in this case, I've just put my own email address on there, but when a notification through email gets delivered, it will say that it's delivered by this email address. So in this case, you could put the practice email address. So if you have a particular one that you used for billing or anything like that, then you can have that edit there. And then the subject, you can include your statement from Happy Valley Medical Clinic in this case. That way they know that the statement is coming from your practice. And then the notification through text, I'm going to show that to you very quickly. So this is what it looks like. It says your bill from this practice for this amount is available to view and pay, and it gives the secure link for them to view the statement and make that payment. Both of these are super convenient because they get delivered to the patient's phone. I absolutely love our text feature. And the reason being is no one misses a text message. So when that gets delivered, it encourages the patient to make a payment and take action right then. This also gets delivered as a one single text instead of being split between multiple text messages. So. And then the next thing that I wanted to show you is payment services. So we're fully integrated with Medisoft, and what that means is you can record a payment in BillFlash, or your patient can go online to the patient portal and make a payment. And now all these payments that are recorded through BillFlash, you can pull those over in Medisoft. So when you log into Medisoft, you'll have a money bag symbol on the top right corner. You'd click on that and all of those will be imported. And then at that point, you can just apply the balance to each patient's account, which is very convenient. So let me show you some of the features under the Get Paid. So you'll be able to take a payment by looking up a patient's account. This account number or name would match the account number that the patient would have in Medisoft, and this allows that payment to be connected to that patient account. So when you pull it over into Medisoft, it will be applied to the correct account. Let's see. You can also process cancellations and refunds, but some of my favorite features include Store Pay, Autopay, and Plan Pay. So Store Pay allows you to store a card on file for future use. So if you have someone coming in the office quite often, you can store that card on file, and then you can look them up next time that you need to take a payment, and all their information will be on file. So all you'd have to do is look them up and add a payment. So I can illustrate very quickly. Let's
Let me just
one of my test patients.
Let me just mention something here that's important. By you having a spreadsheet with people with patient's name and credit card number, that is not compliant. Or having I walk into offices without mentioning anybody's name, and they have a book with people's name and their credit card. That is not compliance. But what we've shown you here, it is. Okay, go ahead.
So I believe what Robert was saying is that when you store the card information on a notebook or just write it down somewhere and keep it in the office, it's not compliant. But when you store it through BillFlash, it will be compliant. So you have no issues there. So when you go to take this payment, typically it will show 3 payment methods: card, check, and cash. But now, because this particular test patient that I have, I've stored a card on file, you'll be able to see that option appears here. So when a patient comes in and you've stored the card on file, all you have to do is enter the payment amount, select the card, in this case it would be Store Pay, and hit submit. It's that easy. So it would take you about 30 seconds, less than a minute, to record a payment, to look a patient up, record a payment, and print a receipt to hand it over to the patient. And then Autopay and Plan Pay. With Autopay, it allows you to, or it allows the patient to pay the balance in full, typically up to a cap amount. So if a patient owes, for example, $200, if there is no cap, it will pay it in full. If there is a cap, let's say $150, it's only going to pay $150 at a time. The Autopay is triggered by a statement. So the way it works is you set up an Autopay pay, and this is something that the patient can actually set up on the patient portal, but they set up, or you set up the auto pay for them, and then you send them a statement, and then the next day, the balance will be paid in full up to a cap amount. So they would, or you would get paid $150. The patient would not have to do anything beyond that. So if they're forgetful about payments, this is a great option, but it's also automatic, so you don't have to call them and remind them to make a payment. And then the next time that you send them a statement, let's say the next month, the balance would be $50, so it would only run for $50. And then the balance would be paid in full, which is very convenient. So again, the auto pay is automated on both sides from the moment that you set it up. And then the plan pay is a payment plan. So it's going to be running the same day each month for a certain number of months, depending on what the balance is. So if the balance was $200 and they were willing to make $50 payments, then you would have to run it 4 times. This one is also very easy and convenient because once you set it up, you don't have to do anything. The patient won't have to do anything. So the only difference between auto pay and plan pay would be this one is triggered by a statement, and then this one is triggered by that date that you set up and the amount. Do you have any questions so far? All right. And then the next feature, actually, there is also one more thing that I want to show you, and that's going to be the patient portal. myproviderlink.com. So this is the patient portal once it loads, and the patient will be able to make payments, enroll in automatic payments, which we already discussed. They can view a history of any statements that you've sent them, or the history of all their payments. And to do all of that, they can sign up for an account, which is entirely free. And then once they sign up, they can sign in and make changes to their account. If they don't want to sign up for something, they can click on Guest Pay, and they would enter the account number and the form ID, which are both located on the top right of every single statement, and they would be making that payment. Now, there is also another option to create a custom link. So we can create a custom link for you to add to your website. And then, so for example, it could be myproviderlink.com / and then the name of your practice or the name of the doctor. And then you can direct the patients to go and make those payments there as well, which is something that a lot of practices are using at the moment. All right. So we've discussed all the payment options, and then there is also the collections feature. So our integrated collection service works very well with Medisoft. You typically set the settings. So let me show you very quickly. Okay, so this is my test account. So what it would normally be doing is selecting the aging, the minimum balance that you want to send over to collections, settlement terms, meaning how much do you want to settle, how much of that balance you want to settle. Most practices do anywhere between 70 to 80. And then if you want to allow those patients that are in collections to make payment plans. So once you set up these settings, you would upload a regular batch of statements, and then the system will automatically pick up anyone that falls within this criteria and send it over to collections. And let me show you very quickly. So I do have some statements on here that I can illustrate. Hopefully you can view my screen. There we go. So you'll notice this is the collections feature. You'll notice that we have a few that are qualified and a few that are not qualified. So they're qualified because the balance is $75 and the aging is older than 90 days past due. And if there is anyone that maybe it's qualified to be sent to collections, maybe this one is qualified and you don't want to send them to collections for whatever reason, maybe you have an agreement with them or whatever the reason is, you can just click on omit. So you have the delete box to delete a statement, but you will have an omit box to omit someone from collections. That way they're not being sent to collections. So yeah, you can do that. Another tip with collections would be when you send your third statement, maybe change the color to red and change the note, because right here you can add, you probably already know this, but you can add messages to the library, letting them know that this will be their last notification, and then their account will be turned over to collections. And then change that color. And typically you're going to generate some action from that. So patients will be calling you to make payments, but the ones that do not, then at that point you can have them sent to collections. If you send someone to collections by mistake and you want to have them removed, you have that feature within BillFlash. If we go to run reports and standard reports, you're familiar with this already, I'm sure. This is where you run your reporting for the statements. You can have a report for all the payments. So maybe you wanted to see all the payments that came through today. You could run that, or month to date, or you can customize it. You'll also have a collections tab where you're going to see the name of the patient, all the details, date that it was opened and sent to collections, and progress on collections that is coming directly from the collections agency. And you'll be able to view any notes made by the collection agency right here where it says history. I don't have anyone because this is a test account, of course, but you would say view and you'd click on it and you'd view progress. So maybe there is a note that says sent first letter, or made the first phone call, or set up a payment plan with the patient. So all those details are going to be there. Do any of you have any questions for me? That's all I had planned to show you, but if there is anything else that you'd like me to show you, or the process that maybe you want me to go more into detail, I'd be happy to.
Now, I used to get a lot of requests about BillFlash to do collection because they already have the statements, they already can be fully integrated. So it's a great service that a lot of people used to ask for. And of course, I used to get a lot of requests for text messaging. So more and more people have blocks on their email because of all the spam that email gets. Not really people have blocks on text messaging. So text messages is like people, they can respond to it while they're walking, while they're driving, or in the bus, or in the train, or anywhere they are, where emails you have to be sitting. Most people usually have to be sitting at their computer, or yes, you can do it from your smartphone, but text messages is instant. And by having a link there that the credit card in most people is already stored on the mobile, they can pay online and get it over with, is a great service. A lot of people used to ask me for that, and I'm really, really happy to see BillFlash that doing both services, the texting and the collection. So I appreciate it. And, you know, I can't be more happier than BillFlash services that you guys provide. Thank you so much. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
I also wanted to add that with the text messaging, it actually gets delivered that evening. And, you know, most people are going to be done with work. So hopefully when they see that text message, they'll take action right away.
Wonderful. Now let me just take the host back, and I'm going to just end with with my contact information. So if you have any questions or you want a copy of the book, please send me an email, or you can call me if you have any question that you don't want to discuss it with everybody on the call. I want to thank you so much for your time. I want to thank you for your business. I want to thank BillFlash for being a great vendor and a great partner. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, everybody.